Exactly.
We have done a lot of work and things together. And my impression, the impression I had then, was that this is a democrat. This is a patriotic Nigerian who wants to free the country from dictatorship, install democratic values, promote sustainable democracy, and fix the problems of this country. Even before coming to power during the APC, the way he supported the Buhari government, I wouldn't do that. I didn't support Buhari's government. But the point is, he came across as somebody who was the right kind of person to. It has turned out to be completely different. And I'm still asking the question myself, what happened to him? And honestly, if I have my way, I will ask for a psychiatric review.
Seriously?
Because I mean, the transformation, from what I used to know in PPA to the current one, where he's basically a monarch. And I understand he's very fond of saying that the buck stops.
Consultative Forum, Northern Elders Forum, a public affairs analyst, a development expert. I could go on and on. Doctor, nice to have you on the show.
My great pleasure.
You're welcome, sir. This is your debut.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Without further ado, let's get on with our conversation. Let's start from the Court of Appeal judgment yesterday, where the decision was handed down that the court affirmed the earlier decision of the High Court that INEC should not recognize the Congress is conducted by the NWC led by David Mark and Marek Beshola. There are mixed reactions there and there as to the extent of that decision. What's your take on this, sir?
Well, it's not surprising. We should all see it coming, and I think this has been the patent of the current APC government, tampering, interfering, sometimes openly using institutions that are supposed to be neutral, like the judiciary, and sometimes very surreptitious, undermining and doing everything to clear the ground for their candidate. In other words, they are using what is called war by other means to ensure that they have the advantage. It's more than an advantage, because when you clear the whole space, then the question comes, who are you really competing with? I mean, in a democracy, you have to allow ideas to compete. It's a pity our own kind of democracy has deteriorated and degenerated to a level where we speak of personalities, we speak of tribes, we speak of regions. But essentially, democracy is at its best when it becomes a competition of ideas. You are looking at better ideas. 10, 15, 20, or whatever number of candidates come forward, offering themselves to make your country better. You listen to all of them, and you now pick those ideas that appear better for you. But at the moment, the candidates, most of the candidates, are not actually known for any particular idea of development.
All of the candidates?
Not all. Okay. Most of the candidates are not known. You cannot, for example, let me give you an example. If you look at anywhere in Europe, take Germany, take France, take Britain, the established parties that are there, the moment you take a member of that party, you know exactly the economic policies. At least you know the thrust. You may not get the details because the details are dynamic.
Yes.
They respond to stimulus. Exactly. They respond to to challenges. But you know the thrust. You know the direction, right? You know their views on LGBT.
Their philosophy
you know
of
their
governance.
views on a number of other issues, right? So you can say that you can define them. There is content. But take any of our parties today. It will be very difficult for you to say this party stands for a particular thing. Let's start with APC. If you ask yourself or ask anybody on the street, okay, APC, what does this stand for? What is its economic philosophy? What is its social philosophy or social policy? What is its view on agriculture, science and technology, critical infrastructure? These are things that not even the president, I think, can articulate. Nobody there can. So basically, when you pull back and really ask yourself, so tell me, what are they doing there? What do they really want to do? Then it comes to you, what comes to you is the 210 trillion that is missing. 8.8 trillion that IMF said has also disappeared from the Nigerian economy. You look at what the chief of staff is being accused of, stealing, and all these 54 billion was the last cut that he's supposed to get from a deal. And before then, there are other billions and God knows trillions. So you ask yourself, so what are these people really doing? They have no direction that I can really see. So basically, they are there to steal. Now, most of other parties are likely to be in the same mode. Why? Because when you ask yourself, what do they represent? Take any party, take the PDP, whichever faction. What do they really represent? What are their ideas? Take yourself, the leaders. When you speak of the leaders of these parties, what comes to your mind? I don't even remember their names, but pick anyone, ask yourself, who is he? What has been his life? What has he contributed? How can you relate him to the problems of this country? What of the many problems we have, what has he been championing? What has he been addressing? All these things, at the end of the day, my sense of it is that people are in politics not to fix our country, but to fix themselves, to essentially steal as much from our resources and have to be happy ever thereafter. Meaning they have stolen enough, they have built houses, mansions, fat bank accounts. For them, they think for the rest of their life and their children, and they will have no problem. At the expense of the country, at the expense of the poor, in thousands and hundreds of thousands, in millions, dying of poverty, unable to pay for medicines, in the hospital, unable to send their children to school, unable to feed. And this is their resources you're stealing. Look at the lack of consciousness, the lack of conscience, the way these people... So really, coming back to your question, what do I make of it? Everybody expects that the APC government, because it has shown, and this is one evidence, is going to use the judiciary. I'm not saying all the members of the judiciary are corrupt, but certainly a good number of them appear to be corrupt. They are going to use the police, they are going to use the army, because I know that they use the police to come and take over, a political party, an opposition party. They use charlatans, they use mercenaries, and they are doing this to a number of parties, SDP, PRP, now, NDC, now ADC, using institutions of state that are supposed to be completely out of politics. They are supposed to be the institutions that we will rely upon as a country, really to stabilize. They are supposed to be the last resort of the poor and the oppressed. And now they are siding with the powerful and the government and the rich. And so very soon, if this trend continues, you will not have a country.
This is very alarming, Doctor. This is very alarming.
Yeah, we are.
It's very alarming. The omens are evident. We can see the signs everywhere, But, Doctor, you were the founding National Secretary of the Action Congress of Nigeria. Was it always like this, that the institutions of state, critical institutions of state, become so manifestly partisan? Was it always like this?
No. There were always certain level of interference, but it never got to this level. And just for the records, when the AC was founded, Alhaji Bashir Al-Hatu was for a few months the National Secretary. I took over because of certain circumstances. He left, and then I was appointed, and I ran through a whole term of nearly 4 years. But coming back to the point, the situation was daring, because you remember we formed the AC then, before it became ACN, that's Action Congress, before it became Action Congress of Nigeria, basically under the dictatorial rule of Obasanjo. And we were basically trying to find a way of... So the new president that Obasanjo installed, even though of blessed memory, and even though he had shown sign of obeying or going by the rule of law, you remember he was the one who set up the Late Waste Commission.
Yes, not only to this man, you understand? So he said Tinubu we knew before, you understand? So the one with the Tinubu we know today say don't be the same. You understand? So you also speak concerning the state of the nation. You get me? So we all know normal level. We all know say recently the state of this nation, no, things not they go well. You understand me? Things are really bad. You understand? So when Buhari was president, so we not see lament like this. You understand? This not worse like this. We not say that a regime not still good, but this time now, that's one worse pass. You understand me? So there's a lot to face. You understand? So well, I know I talk too much, so I want to drop my thoughts on that conversation. So with this man talk, this man is your point, for my own.